Hello, dears. Good morning, and welcome to my lecture. So far, what we have studied, very important things means all mathematics, mainly the linear algebra, fundamentals of that, two fundamentals, and 12th class level trigonometry uh, and some geometric concept. But with those concepts, we have made a model of industrial robot, starting from tooling, thrilling manipulator to an industrial robot. And those modeling procedure same, similar to all kind of robots available in the world today. So primarily we have studied forward kinematics and inverse kinematic solution, right? So modeling is limited up to that. And also for digesting some of the useful concepts, we have some question answers, and I try to um, make you aware of um, some kind of tricky questions you may which may help you to digest the uh, basic concepts. Now, what you can do with those models, right? Can you run a robot with those models? Perhaps not, not yet. So, this is module number one, where we have developed fundamental model of a robot, forward kinematics, inverse kinematics, and those are the raw materials for our subsequent modeling, which we'll do in the next class. But even with those models, what you can do using forward kinematics, you can create the working envelope of a robot. You can test the repeatability, okay, and you can test also how accurate a robot is. And through inverse kinematic solution, using graphics, you can define Cartesian space, and you can see robot is moving. But so far, what I mean is that in the model, so far important concepts of velocity is not there. For example, those models are not capable of following a trajectory. Say, I need to follow a trajectory, okay? The trajectory can be followed with different velocities, right? Like this, or maybe quickly. So those aspects in the model is not there. Also, we do not have mass property of the robot in the model. So that's why the model are simple. So in the module one, but they are very, very essential model. Without that, we cannot build up the next module. So with the concepts, if you got the concepts, then we'll talk about um, take a little digression and try to see that what do you mean by robot specification, and what are the different applications of Puma type of robot, like that. In this lecture, we are going to do that. Okay. So Puma robot has several series. It started with 200, 500, 700, 560 model is very popular, and we have studied that. Okay, and it has actually, these are the specifications. Okay, it has 6-axis arm, articulated robot with 3 axes making up a spherical wrist, because following Piper's recommendation, that we wanted that equations, especially dynamic equation, kinematic equation, will be simpler, and closed form kinematic solution would be guaranteed. To have that, it has this specification, and maximum reach is 878 millimeter from the center of the axis to center of the wrist. Okay. Then it has a payload capacity, okay, 4 kg to 2.5 kg. We can select payload. What is payload? Payload is the load with which robot gripper can move, taking that kind of load, right? And what is his own weight? Puma robot arm, okay, 83 kg. So 83 kg Puma robot arm can only carry 2.5 to 4 kg load. Okay. Its repeatability is plus minus 0.1 millimeter. Okay, then you can ask that why so less payload? Actually, this is not low payload compared to the kind of structure the Puma has. okay, 4 kg, 2.5 kg, because when we'll talk about trajectory following, uh, if you um, put more masses, okay, there will be vibration, unnecessary vibration, because those high mass will create a torque at the gripper, and that will be transmitted, that will produce coupling effect, and all kind of nonlinearity will be there, and controlling will be very difficult. That's why payload, because inertial torque will be there, as you know, the mass, payload is a mass, right? And when it is moving with some acceleration, then some uncounted inertial torque will be there, which will be difficult to handle if the mass is bigger, okay? And all kind of problem will be there, that vibration will be there, repeatability will be a problem, bad repeatability will be poor, all kind of thing, right? So that's why you see 2.5 kg maximum velocity is limited to 500 millimeter per second, that to straight line move, okay? Because mass having velocity has some momentum, right? So that has to be limited to get accurate trajectory following of the robot. And if the mass is more, then it should move with less velocity. So these are the specifications. And then in hardware architecture has two level of hierarchy. It has a DEC LSI2 computers serving as a top level planning activities, where you are solving inverse kinematics and all kind of afterwards you will see it will do the trajectory planning. It will means if you have optical avoidance also in the trajectory, that algorithm also will work on. So everything will be working on in this computer, okay? DEC LSI, large scale integration to a computer, right? And Puma 560 model actually had 6 Rockwell 6503 microprocessor acting as a execution level controller. Okay, so these are some of the specification of Puma 560 robot. And world, some of the top industrial robot manufacturer, you see ABB in Switzerland, and then Osikawa Electric Corporation, which is in Japan. Motoman robot, is a benchmark robot of Osikawa. Right? Then Media Group, that is in German-based company, they are producing again very famous popular robot KUKA. Okay, the Fanuc Corporation, they also produce a robot in Japan. Kawasaki Heavy Industry, they also produce a robot in Japan, right? And Omron Adept was purchased by a company called Omron. This is located in California, US. So these are some of the world top industrial robot manufacturer, right? And they are serving, they are millions in different industry. Okay, what are those? You see, some industrial application will talk. This is Cartesian robot. Huh? There is no revolute joint, as you can see the structure. It can move along x-axis, along y-axis, along z-axis. No rotation. Where it can be used in loading and unloading of CNC machine. CNC means computerized, numerically controlled machine. Then for 3D printing, okay, this kind of structures, robot, Cartesian robot, they're simple. Okay. So low cost, less cost if it is simple, and they are used for this kind of activities. Then articulated robot, perhaps the most commonly used robot, our Puma is also an articulated robot. Okay, articulated means it is just like our hand. Okay, motion has 6 joints, just like our hand. So in auto industry, mainly it is used in auto industry. Okay, for welding, for pick and place operation, for packaging, for painting. Okay, car body. Okay, metal casting, all kind of activities. Welding means arc welding as well as spot welding. You can arc welding. This is very famous robot. Okay, because it can follow trajectory very stringently. Okay, So articulated robot, costly robot, very effective robot, and this kind of activities it does in the industry. Then you have a cylindrical robot, not so costly, but it is very useful for simple loading and unloading of machines. Okay, so you can load and unload several and bin picking, all kind of activities, assembly operation, some handling at die casting machines. Okay, so those hazardous die casting machine and some hazardous environment with this kind of cylindrical robot, which is not that costly as articulated robot, can be used for this kind of activities. Then we have SCARA robot, another very famous industrial robot. SCARA stands for Selective Compliance Articulated Robot Hand. Okay, it is enormously used in assembly applications, especially in computer manufacturing industry, motherboard, then all kind of um, motherboard manufacturing, then mobile phone manufacturing, all kind of precision engineering, um, all kind of environment. SCARA robots are used, okay, for precision engineering. So another robot is Delta robot, spider-like. You can see, and they are useful for other applications than industry, for food industry, pharma industry, some electronic industry, special precision application, fast track, fast pick and place, all kind of operations they can do with the Delta robot. Okay, spider-like robot they can use. And all these kinds of robot can be modeled with the technique which we have studied so far using Denovet-Hartenberg principle. Now, having talked about some applications and then having talked about robot classification, um, you must know there are another emerging area in robotics which is coming up, which in our next module we'll touch upon and go sufficient detail so that you can have a kind of synergy between industrial type of robot and humanoid type of robot. Okay, then you can ask question: is the modeling technique are different altogether? No, but they are different. Why they are different? Because basically they are designed for collaboration. Okay, that they will not replace human hand. This kind of robots actually the kind of job which human cannot do. For example, welding a car body and aircraft. Okay, for example, a passenger plane wings are to be very minutely welded. So all kind of operations has to be done with robot in hazardous environment, loading, unloading, then precision engineering, this computer chip manufacturing, all kind of activities where you need precision. This kind of industrial robots are the answer. Some of them are very costly. But when we are talking about a robot as a tool, they will share even the social space with human, like now kind of robot, personal robot, or Onukul Baxter type of robot. They are called humanoid robot. They are also physical structure. They are to be controlled by computer. They are to be equipped with several sensors. So those kind of robots can also be modeled using the technique which we have studied so far, with some extra modeling technique which may require in most of the cases, because these robots has a problem. What is the problem? They cannot work with human. Actually, they can harm human, right? In terms of because they are so motion trajectory planning, stringent operation is going on, so they do not have a sense how to avoid hurting human being, right? So they are normally put in segregation with human. They cannot work with human. But the kind of robots which humanoid robot which we'll talk in my next class is actually humanoid robot, and their modeling technique, their similarities, dissimilarities, all kind of thing will be discussed in our next class, up to the level of that again forward kinematics, inverse kinematics. And in module 2 we will discuss about more complete model. Okay, complete model means what? Means incorporate real things. For example, trajectory planning, right? When robot will execute trajectory, I'll have to define velocity. Trajectory cannot be just like that, you know. I have a trajectory and I have a robot, okay, and say I will mark some points and solve inverse kinematics, and robot will go. Robot cannot go unless we define, unless we have a trajectory defined at the joint level also. Okay, that means we need to incorporate more realistic parameter. In the H parameter we have geometric parameters only, in terms of length, in terms of twist angle, all kind of thing we have, but we do not have um, velocity information. Okay, so incomplete. The model is incomplete, but step by step we will go. And also we do not have masses, which without mass robot cannot exist, right? You see, the Puma has 83 kg mass, so ARM has a mass, and we have ignored in our model so far whatever we have developed. But we will do step by step. So stay tuned and have fun. If you have any question, you please come to the discussion forum, or you can write to me. Constructive suggestion you can give in the suggestion box, and let us enjoy in knowing everything about robotics. Okay. Till then, stay safe and stay tuned for the next lecture. Thank you.